even one instance where the devotee said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, they said that you said, Prabhupada said, they say that I say, but I did not say. So, when someone wants to concoct something or come up with something, you say, oh, Prabhupada said that. But Prabhupada said, I did not say. So you have to be careful and have actual sources and do things in the right way, in a nice way. Okay.
Question?
Yes.
For the Jai Dwani, the person that's leading it, that's saying
Jai,
and everybody else just says Jai.
Jai. Yes, that is a tradition that started during the time of Prabhupada. Prabhupada said Ki Jai and everyone would go Jai. I do not know if that is a Vedic thing, but it happened. That's what went on during the time of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada did not stop it or did not disapprove, considered it proper. Actually, there's statements in the Shastra when one comes in front of the deity, one should say Radha Madhava Ki Jai. One should glorify the deity like that. Even in the Hard Bhakti Vilasa, when one arises in the morning, the first thing he should do is chant the names of the deities and say Ki Jai. Immediately upon rising, first thing, before any other morning duties, like brushing the teeth, whatever. All right, so that out of the way. Any other questions about these things or any other thing in that related to that same subject matter? All right. So if I hear a devotee say, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, I'm going to go in front of the devotee who's doing that and make a face. Because if we can't get it from hearing, then we have to get it from punitive actions. Done improperly, it's very,
You say it properly? Nama.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. Not Nama. Nama means the holy name, which we're going to talk about in today's verse. Okay. Sorry to have to do that, but sometimes it has to be done, and then when everyone is gathered, that's the time. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Kunja Om Agyanatimirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupagada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragamatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagat Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpachubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasavi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudidayet Nasta Presho Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Shivaya Bhagavad Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki. Today, Thursday, August 15, 2024, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter number 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. Today we're going to briefly touch on text 13 and concentrate on text 14. Okay? Text 13 states, Prachina Bharhisha Putaha Shatadrutyam Dashabhavan Tulya Nama, there's the word, Nama, Brata Sarve Dharma Snata Pracheta Saha. Nama means name. Nama means obeisances. As a matter of fact, in that mantra, Nama Om Vishnu Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Bhaktivedanta Swami is his name. In case it wasn't clear earlier. Translation. King of Prachina Barhi begot 10 children in the womb of Shatadruti. All of them were equally endowed with religiosity, and all of them were known as the Prachetas. Purport. The word Dharma Snataha is significant, for the 10 children were all merged in the practice of religion. In addition, they possessed all good qualities. One is supposed to be perfect when one is perfectly religious, perfect in the execution of one's vows to render devotional service, perfect in good behavior, and so on. All the Prachetas were on the same level of perfection. Talk about begetting good children. That is the Prachetas. Text number 14. Vitradishta praja sarge tapaser navam avishan harsha sahasrani tapasarcham tapaspatim Vitradishta praja sarge tapasirna vamavishan Dashavarsha sahasrani tapasarcham tapaspatim Vitradishta praja sarge tapasirna vamavishan Dashavarsha sahasrani tapasarcham tapaspatim. Please chant.
Pratishta praja sarge.
Vitradishta praja sarge tapasarna vamavishan
Dashavarsha sahasrani.
Sahasrani
Tapasarcham tapaspatim.
tapasarcham tapaspatim Vitradishta praja sarge tapasirna vamavishan Dashavarsha sahasrani tapasarcham tapaspatim. Anyone else?
Pradishta Praja Sarge,
Pitradishta Praja Sarge,
Tapasena Vamavishan,
Tapasir Navamavishan,
Dasavarsha Sahasrani,
Dashavarsha Sahasrani,
Tapasarjam Sapaspati,
Chamstapaspatim. The word for word. Pitra, by the Father. Adishta, being ordered by. Raja Sarge, in the matter of begetting children. Tapase, for executing austerity. Arnavam, in the ocean. Avishan, entered. Dasyavarsha, 10 years. Sahasrani, such thousands. Tapasa, by their austerity. Archan, worshipped. Tapaha, of austerity. Patim, the master. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. When all these prachetas were ordered by their father to marry and beget children, they all entered the ocean and practiced austerities and penances for 10,000 years. Thus they worshiped the master of all austerity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please repeat. When all these prachetas were ordered by their father to marry and beget children, they all entered the ocean and practiced austerities and penances for 10,000 years. Thus they worshiped the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes great sages and ascetics enter the Himalaya mountains in order to find seclusion from the turmoil of the world. It appears, however, that all the prachetas, the sons of Prachina Barhi, entered the depths of the ocean to perform austerity in a secluded place. Since they performed austerities for 10,000 years, this incident took place in the Satya Yuga, when people used to live for 100,000 years. It is also significant by their austerity, they worship the master of austerity, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one wants to perform austerities and penances in order to attain the supreme goal, one must attain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one achieves the favor of the Supreme Lord, is finished all kinds of perfect stage of austerities and penances actually have no meaning. For without the Supreme Lord, no one can attain the highest results derived from performing them. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 29, Lord Shri Krishna is the master of all penances and sacrifices. Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. Thus, the desired result, performing austerities, may be derived from Lord Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 33, text 7, it is stated, Aho bhata swapachota gariyan yajiva gre vartate namatuvyam te pustapaste juhuvu shashnirarya brahmanuchur nama grinanti yete. Nama again, the holy name of the Lord. If a person is born in a family, the lowest birth one can get in human society, names of the Lord. For it is to be understood, such chanting, a devotee definitely proves that he underwent all kinds of austerities in his previous life. By the grace of Lord Chaitanya, one who chants the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, attains the highest perfectional stage, which had previously been attained by people who entered the ocean and executed austerities for 10,000 years. In this age of Kali, if a person does not take advantage of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, which is offered as a great concession to the fallen human beings of this age, it is to be understood that he is very much bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord. Prabhupada telling it like it is. Pitradishta praja sargi tapaser navam avishan dashavarsha shahasrani tapasarcham tapaspatim. When all these Prachetas were ordered by their father to marry and beget children, they all entered the ocean and practiced austerities and penances for 10,000 years. Thus they worshiped the master of all austerity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mukun kolochabachalam hangum ragayate gidin jatkripa tamaham vande siguram. So what can we understand from today's verse? That in previous ages they could really breath a lot longer than whatever the current Guinness Book of World Records for holding one's breath underwater is. 10,000 years.
But it was going to the ocean.
Prabhu, you have to get married. I'm going to California. So, of course, this is not possible in this age. And those who do not understand the validity and historical, factual evidences presented in Srimad Bhagavatam would think that it is impossible for people to live 100,000 years or to spend 10,000 years under the ocean. But that is the description given, and it is certainly not something that takes place in this age for the last 5,000 years, which you could say is modern history or the history of civilization. That is the history of Mleccha civilization, more or less. But the history of human civilization goes back millions of years, according to the accounts in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is apaurushaya. It is transcendental. It is beyond what modern people in their fallen condition think. And Prabhupada specifically points out here that those who are not engaged in the chanting of the holy names are bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord. Certainly, we live in an age in which bewilderment by the illusory energy is the prime feature of human civilization. If you're educated in Vishlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam and practiced in the chanting of the holy names and following all, then one gets realization and understanding that's beyond PhDs in religion and philosophy, as we have previously mentioned in these classes. So when they were ordered to marry the Prachetas, what was their first thought? Oh, let me go on Facebook and a suitable partner. No, that was not at all. Let me go look. Let me go take a look, see what's out there first. No, let us go perform austerities and penances to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let us concentrate on our spiritual advancement. Then we can talk about, this marriage and family business later. But the most important thing is to get fixed up in Krishna consciousness. Very good program. Very good advice to follow for anyone. Because the most important thing, first and foremost, in life is to spiritual advancement, to advance on the path of love and devotion. So this they understood. But now, who's understanding things in human society is actually very rare. There are a few, and the Krishna conscious movement is reviving and bringing back these concepts of the importance of spiritual life for human society and also to become happy, healthy, etc. Now, in the Narada Pancharatra, there's a verse which Prabhupada has liberally and loosely quoted from in today's purport. And this verse states, Aradito yadi hadis tapasa tatakim, Naradito yadi hadis tapasa tatakim, Anta bahir yadi hadis tapasa tatakim, Antar bahir yadi hadis tapasa tatakim. If one is worshiping Lord Hari, what is the use of performing extraneous penances? That means if one is already worshiping the Lord. And if one is not worshiping Lord Hari, no such penances will save one. If one is understanding that Lord Hari is all-pervading within and without, what is the need of performing penances? And if one is not able to understand that Hari is all-pervading, all his penances are useless. This is not a verse that glorifies performing penances and austerities, as we can see. But such things may be helpful in the practice of devotional service. But immediately in the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes the verse from the third canto, Aho bata swapachoto gadiyan yajiva krivarta te namatubhyam te pus tapas te juhuvu shashniraya paramanu namigrimanti yete. That, oh, how glorious are those whose tongues are engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord. It is to be understood that such persons who are engaged in chanting the holy name have previously, in previous lives, performed all the required penances and austerities, have practiced good behavior, and are possessed of the good quality of the Aryans, Shashnu Arya. So therefore, they are not required to undergo the prerequisite penances and austerities that one would find in previous ages, like the penances and austerities that are practiced in today's verse, in this section, by the Prachetas. Furthermore, it is stated in the 12th canto of the Bhagavatam, Krite yad jayato Vishnu, Tretayam yajato makai, Dwarpare paricharjajam, Kalota dhari kirtana. So in the Satya Yuga, Krite yad jayato Vishnu, people achieve perfection by meditating on Vishnu, which is what the Prachetas are doing in their austerities and penances, and they're meditating also. So that is in the Satya Yuga, but that is not the prescription for this age. And in the Treta Yuga, Tretayam yajato makai, people were engaged in performing great sacrifices, yagyas, to please the Lord, and that was the process for that age. Dwarpare paricharjajam, and in Dwarpa Yuga, the previous age, just before this one, which at the end of the Dwarpa Yuga and remained for some 125 years. This is around 3100 BC or BCE, which I think that. I like BCE better because it's spiritual, before Christ. But now it's BCE, before the Common Era. Oh, let us take anything religious out of there and make it scholarly. So they want to take God out of religion and make religion a mundane subject. It's true. This is going on. So, Dwarpare paricharjajam, that in the Dwarpa Yuga, the method of realization was temple worship, deity worship, which we still have in this age, but nothing like the scale and opulence and grandeur of the Dwarpa Yuga. So what about the age of Kali? Kalota dhari kirtana. That same perfection that was achieved in those previous ages by the other processes, meditation, sacrifice, deity worship. Kalota Hari Kirtanat. Hari Kirtan is the method for this age, and the exact same result of achieving the Supreme Personality of Godhead is gotten by Hari Kirtan, by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Now that verse we just quoted comes from the 3rd chapter of the 12th canto, near the end of the Bhagavatam. That's text 52. Just previous to that, in text 51, it is stated, Kaler doshinit hei rajan, astyeko mahangunaha, kirtanareva krishnasya, mukta sangha param brajet. That Kaler doshinit hei rajan, O king, Rajan, Kaler doshinit hei, this Kali Yuga, this Kali age, which is a very difficult time for humans. Kaler dosha nidhe. It's like a dosha nidhe. Dosha means fault, and nidhe means ocean. So there are so many faults that the existence of the Kali Yuga is like an ocean of faults. The ocean is what? It is very big. It is full of water. So instead of an ocean of water, you have a very big ocean of hypocrisy, fault, quarrel, the age of quarrel. It's explained in other places in the Bhagavatam also about that. Prayana parishashabhya kalavashmin yuge junaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagahi upadruta. That men in this iron age of Kali, they're very lazy and they are unlucky. They are misguided. And above all, they are always disturbed. And that is the characteristic, the quality of life in the Kali Yuga. And if you don't believe that, then just walk out on First Avenue and you will see the ocean of Kali flowing along the First Avenue. There are other places one can go, but one doesn't have to go far from here. So, Asteko Mahanguna, but, however, Eko Mahanguna, there's one great thing about Kali Yuga. Mahaguna means one great quality that stands out in the ocean of suffering and bad qualities. Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. Certainly, eva means certainly. Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. Certainly, by chanting the holy names of the Lord, Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet. One can become free from all bad association. Mukta Sangha. Sangha means association. Mukti means liberation. One becomes free from all the bad effects of the Kali Yuga. Param Vrajet. And one can go back home to the spiritual world. Param. The Parampadam, the spiritual world, the place where there is no suffering, and there is no Kali Yuga, and there is no First Avenue in the spiritual world. There, the streets are made of Chintamani. So that is the conclusion of the Bhagavatam. So in today's purport, Srila Prabhupada is giving us a nice explanation. He is summarizing that what was done by the Prachetas to advance on the spiritual path, that same result is available for everyone in the modern age, despite our lack of qualifications, by taking the chanting of the holy names. And one who is chanting those holy names is considered to have already completed the performance of all sacrifices, penances, and such things. It is said in the 5th canto that Yasyastir Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana Savarganas Tatra Samasate Sadaha Harava Bhaktasya Kato Mahad Gunaha Manora Senatati Davato Bahi. That those who have or who are practicing devotional service, Savarganais Tattva Samasate Sadaha, they automatically develop all the good qualities of the demigods. The demigods are decorated with very good qualities like knowledge, religion, purity, determination to lead a good life. That's the standard of life in the Shwargaloka, in the higher planets, not on this planet. So those who are engaging in the devotional service of the Lord, automatically the good qualities become a manifest in them. On the other hand, the second half of the verse says, Harava Bhaktasya, those who are not devotees, Hari Abhakta, we want to become a Hari Bhakta, a devotee of the Lord. Those who Harav Abhaktasya, Kato Mahaguna, no matter how much it seems that they have good qualities, like being very rich and very famous and very sharp and very inventive and creative in so many ways, in philosophy, literature, music, arts. That they are carried away by mana rata. Rata means a chariot or a vehicle. Now we don't have chariots, we have internal combustion engines and electric vehicles and hybrids. But it's still rata. But mano rata means, refers to the mind. Mano ratenasati davatobehi. Because they are davato, they are meditating or focused on bahi, that which is external, then mana rata, they are carried away by the chariot of the mind, unless they are devotee. So there are no exceptions. Unless one becomes a devotee of the Lord, one is forced to take a ride on the chariot of the mind. And where does the chariot of the mind lead one? What is the destination of one who is riding the chariot of the mind? Probably not even a human birth in the next life, more than likely. So it is just like we sing every morning, Yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasado, Yasya prasadam nagati katopi. So when one gets the mercy of the spiritual master, then one gets the mercy of Krishna. But Yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasado, if one does not have the mercy of the spiritual master or get Bhagavat prasad, the mercy of God, Yasya prasadam, without that mercy, nagati kutopi. Na gati. Gati means the destination. In India, they say when someone has passed away that, oh, they have achieved the Ganga Gati, they have achieved the shelter of Mother Ganges. Because generally, if possible, depending on the geographical location, when one passes away, then one's body is burned on the shores of Mother Ganga. And then in this way, one is aspiring for the shelter of Mother Ganga. Ganga Gati, one has attained the destination of Ganga. But Nagati Kutopi, Prabhupada translates that as one's destination is unknown. In other words, one's destination is not the lotus feet of Krishna. Actually, that destination, the ignominious destination, very powerful. They beat us over the head, but to inspire us for the higher the lotus feet of the Lord. Kirtana Deva Krishnasya, Mukta Sangha Param Brajet. One can go back home, back to Godhead. So that is meant to encourage and inspire. And in this regard, it's going to take me a second to call this up here. We have the statements of Lord Brahma at the conclusion of the Brahma Samhita. And just take me a second to get this here. After offering all his prayers of self-realization to Krishna, at the end of the Brahma Samhita, Krishna speaks to Lord Brahma after hearing all his beautiful prayers and glorifications and his realizations, which Prabhupada said the Brahma Samhita is so wonderful because it is a synopsis of the entire Vedic philosophy. So, beginning with text 60, we'll just chant these and read the translations because it's so wonderful to hear. Yasya shreyas kadam nashti yaya nirvitim apnuyat ya sadayati mam eva bhaktim tam eva sadayet. These preliminary practices of devotion, sadhana bhakti, are conducive to the realization of loving devotion. Loving devotion, than whom there is no superior well-being, who goes hand in hand with the attainment of the exclusive state of supreme bliss, and which can lead to myself. This is Krishna speaking to Brahma. As translated by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Dharmanyan paraditjaja mamekam bhaja vishvasan yadrishi yadrishi shraddha siddhir bhavati tadrishi kurvan nirantaram karma lokoya maruvartate dinaiva karmana jhayan mam param bhaktim ichtati. Abandoning all meritorious performances, serve me with faith, so that dharmananja parityaja, that reminds us of what in Bhagavad Gita? Sarva dharman parityaja, mamekam sharanam vraja. Abandoning all meritorious performances, serve me with faith. The realization will correspond to the nature of one's faith. The people of the world act ceaselessly in pursuance of some ideal. By meditating on me, by means of those deeds, which is the practice of sadhana bhakti, one will obtain devotion characterized by love in the shape of the supreme service. And one more. And there are these fantastic purports by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, which we don't really have time to cover at this moment. We're just summarizing. Aham mi visvasya characharasya Ijam pradhanam prakriti pumangscha maya hitam teja idam vibarshi vidhehi tomato jaganti. Listen, O Vidhi, that means Brahma. I am the seed that is the fundamental principle of this world of animate and inanimate objects. I am the pradhan, the substance of matter. I am prakriti, the material cause, and I am purusha, efficient cause. This fiery energy that belongs specifically to the Brahman that inheres in you has also been conferred by me. It is by bearing this fiery energy that you regulate this phenomenal world of animate and inanimate objects. Remember, Lord Brahma, he has yet to create the secondary of the universe, and populate it, which he has to do. And it is a rather large, burdensome task. Just imagine. Okay, here's the material energy. Now you take all that and create the universe, all the universes. Well, in this case, one particular universe, the universe that Brahma's in. Like, oh gee, how do I do that? So here the Lord is telling him, by this Krishna consciousness, and he refers to that, this fiery energy, this energy of bhakti, of devotional service, then you will be able to carry out your task of creating the phenomenal world of animate and inanimate objects. All right. So we'll stop here. Any questions? Conversations? Surely someone is. I'm curious about something. All right, then we will stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhagavatam ki jai.